Got the iced coffee like a typical girl, but you know what? We're not ashamed to be a girl or a woman anymore. Praise God. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Biblically Feminine YouTube channel, where I document in real time my process of learning how to become more biblically feminine. My name is Mallory Hammond, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be giving you guys 7 practical steps you can take while you are preparing to be a wife. Now, the reason why I was inspired to make this video is because when I myself was in my season of singleness, I would be around other Christian girls, either younger or slightly older, and they would be in this waiting period where they'd be praying for their husband, but then also complaining at times that there's no good Christian men out there. And what I started to realize, and what I had to point back to myself as well when I would get impatient at moments, is you don't attract who you pray for or who you want. Rather, you attract who you are. So again, I found a lot of girls, and I myself was guilty at this at times, listing out all these things that they wanted to have in a future husband: financially stable, loving, caring, X, Y, and Z, but they weren't taking the practical steps to become the wife that high level and high achieving husband is deserving of. I think this is more of a prominent issue in the younger generation, where we have such a high level of entitlement. And this is not me saying that we have to do X, Y, and Z in order to gain a husband or to earn a husband. However, marriage is a gift from God, and it comes with a lot of responsibility. And so I wanted to make this video to encourage and exhort you young women to really prepare ourselves to be that wife to our future husband. With that said, before I get into sharing with you guys 7 practical steps of becoming a biblical wife, I want to disclaim this one thing first. You are never going to fully be ready for marriage. I myself can attest to this, where even these 7 things that I'm about to list out, I wasn't fully operating in, and I was falling short, and I'm still constantly growing in today. Speaking of being married, I just realized I don't have my ring on. Don't be alarmed, it's in my jewelry box. But again, I don't want you guys to hear these things that I'm about to list out and think that you have to master every single one. However, since we are in this season of preparation, not punishment, because our waiting season is not punishment, we should be taking initiative as daughters of the Most High King to prepare ourselves as best as we can. First step to becoming a godly wife is growing in your relationship with Jesus. Now, I know this sounds very obvious, but at times this can be very overlooked, and I wanted to set a very firm foundation before we get into the everyday practical steps of this video. Now, in your season of singleness, you want to get to the point where Jesus truly is your everything. This season is where you should be letting go any and all sexual immorality that you still have in your life, whether it would be pornography, fornication, or training yourself to not live in fantasy land, basically watching pornography in our mind, because that's something that girls can find ourselves falling into very often. This is where you should be cutting off all of your guy friend situationships, if you have any. I highly recommend to not be hanging around guys alone. However, people have different convictions. Basically, this is your season to remove anybody and anything out of your life that is not bringing you closer to Jesus. I highly suggest that even be a prayer that you pray on a continual basis, that the Lord would reveal or straight up take away people or things that are separating you from Him. Last thing I will add in this section is for you to really take the initiative to seek out godly community. Now, this may and will take some time. For me personally, I was pretty much alone in my first year and a half of my walk, but as I was faithfully being that friend to other people, the Lord then brought people into my life. But what I will say is, do not continue to just be around people that you are comfortable with, or even some that you've known your whole life. I really encourage you guys to surround yourself with people that challenge you, people that sharpen you, like Proverbs 27:17 talks about. Iron sharpens iron, and so a brother sharpens another brother. Be around people that push you to be closer to Jesus and push you to pursue a lifestyle of purity, holiness, and righteousness. To even my sisters who may still be very tomboy or are trying to get out of that, like myself, I highly encourage you to step outside of your box of comfort and start making friends with a lot more feminine and girly girls. This will naturally bring out more of your feminine nature. Second step is learning how to clean. This step, as well as the next few, may seem very elementary. However, I feel like a lot of people in their season of singleness tend to overlook this because we don't feel the need to impress, or no one may be coming over, or maybe we just weren't taught how to be very clean. I myself was raised in a Hispanic household, so I was taught how to deep clean at a very, very young age. And if I did it wrong, I'd have to go back and do it 3 times over. But just take a second, look around your room or even the other parts of your house. When was the last time you picked up? And when was the last time, if ever, that you deep cleaned? This is something I see commonly in the younger generation where we are not taught how to really deep clean, or we're not trained how to have an eye for that. But I believe that is a gift and skill that God has inherently blessed women specifically with, men as well. But I really do believe women are inherently gifted with the ability to refine the details. Now, if you come from a family where you're not taught how to do this, practically, I'd really encourage you to reach out to elders in your church. Now, this takes initiative and you may get shot down or people may think it's weird, but that's okay. If you don't know how to deep clean, and I mean deep clean, like scrubbing grout, mopping, or consistently cleaning the kitchen. I mean like cleaning, like it should be sparkly. Like I said, you can reach out to elders at your church that can teach you and train you in these things, and that also offers them free hands to be able to help. Or you could take this conversation to your mom if she does know how to deep clean, and ask her to really sit down and help you with this. If you're still living at home, I really encourage you to even take that responsibility off of her. Ask her to start giving you more deep cleaning responsibilities around the house so that you can prepare to be a wife. And this also blesses your mom with more time to do things that she wants to be able to do. If those aren't options, you could even look into reaching out to a cleaning company and asking if they need an extra pair of hands, and asking in return that they could then teach you how to deep clean. The last thing I will add in this section is, once you have learned how to deep clean, really ingrain this in your weekly or monthly schedule, always keeping things picked up and deep cleaning periodically. And then on top of that, I highly encourage you guys to really romanticize your area, whether your bedroom or your entire household. If you live alone, get fuzzy blankets, candles, get nice, soothing, soft colors, even buying yourself flowers at times. I took this step while I was trying to become more feminine, and I found it naturally starting to really soften my heart and wanted me to take care of my area even more. And that is also a gift God has given us women, of being able to make areas a home. So practice making your area a home, not just a livable house. Third step is learning how to cook. Now, I hear a lot of girls, even Christian girls, say that this isn't something that they're very gifted in, so they're just going to hope and pray that their husband's really good at cooking. And that may very well be the case. However, this is just something I believe every adult should be good at. When you are well versed and well skilled in cooking, not at an expert level, but even just understanding the basics of cooking, you now open the opportunity for you to be more financially stable, because you're not spending so much money eating out. And you also open the door for you to be cooking healthy foods for yourself that takes care of your body as well as your future families. I really encourage you guys to not let the fear of messing up stop you from growing in this. You will hear me often say on this channel, the second you take a step of faith, even when you are uncomfortable, God's grace will then meet you. Some practical steps that you can take if you didn't come from a household where you were taught how to cook is, again, YouTube universities, printing out recipes that you find online and walking through it step by step. Again, do not freak out when you mess up over and over again. That is a process of cooking. I myself have been cooking and baking since I was 9 years old, and then I also took the initiative to take culinary classes in middle school and high school, and it came with a lot of quote unquote failures. But no, you never truly fail until you give up. As women who are vessels of the Holy Spirit, I really encourage you to learn how to cook healthy food, whether that can be to extreme of avoiding gluten or seed oils like myself, because I've been very health conscious from a very young age. Or for some of you guys, just cooking at home majority of the time moving forward can be a huge health benefit. This not only is going to help and increase your health as well as your finances, but also bless your future husband and your future family, because you as the wife are going to determine majority of the time what they eat and what they consume. The book of Proverbs talks about how a wise woman builds up her house, doesn't tear it down. So let's prepare to be women that build up our kids and our husband with healthy food and a clean area. Which leads me to the fourth step, which is to start taking care of children. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I did not want kids, nor did I like kids for a very long period in my life. So I purposely took the initiative at 16 years old to begin babysitting and nannying so that I could become more familiar with kids. And sure enough, because I really do believe women have this knee-jerk desire within them to take care of kids and to have children one day, I started to love children. I still nanny till this day. And I really do believe every Christian woman can benefit taking the time to really nanny or babysit. This could look like you going to elders in your church who you see have young kids, and you could go up to them and say, hey, I want to prepare to be a wife and a mom one day. Could I possibly come over and help you watch your kids? And then maybe eventually I could start watching them while you and your husband go on a date. I can promise you so many women within churches would take you up on that offer. A huge benefit I find in being around babies or young kids often is it really puts me in this soft, feminine heart posture, because babies can really sense when somebody has a rough and tough heart. So when you're around them, this really brings out your nurturing and mothering side that I myself am trying to bring out as much as I possibly can, because I came from and still can slip into at times having this very rough and aggressive exterior and even interior. I also really believe that every Christian woman should be taking the initiative to take care of kids, because this is going to prepare us for motherhood. Now, just as I explained earlier in this video, you're never fully going to be ready or be fully prepared to be a wife or a mother. However, we want to take the initiative to be as prepared as we possibly can. This step, as well as the other two that I listed previously, I really want to put an emphasis on, just because I hear a lot of young girls say often, well, they'll figure it out when they get there. But again, you want these things on autopilot as much as you possibly can, because when a whole other man comes into your life and all these other stresses, whether it be kids or finances or just learning how to be an adult with somebody new, you want the skills of cooking and cleaning and childcare to be something that you can do without really even thinking. Fifth step is to start putting effort in your physical fitness. Now, I want to speak to two groups of women. The first one may be the person who has never had experience with physical fitness in the past and has no clue what they're doing, and maybe you have this God-given desire to get in shape, but there's so much information out there and it can seem so overwhelming. I want to tell you to not overwhelm yourself. Easier said than done, I know, but taking steps to becoming more healthy is truly so simple. Practically speaking, I really encourage you to just start paying attention to how much water you drink a day and slowly start implementing more and more and more water as the weeks progress. Like I said, if you're somebody who has no idea what to do in the gym, don't even understand the basics of weightlifting or fitness, you can get so much done and even lose quite a bit of weight with just going on 1, 2, or 3 walks a day. If you want to add more, you could even start stretching daily. Just figure out a workout regimen that works best for you and just start small. Like I said, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with too much. The second group of women I want to talk to in this step is the one who does have an extensive background in health and fitness, perhaps so much that it may even be an idol in your life. And I say that because that was the position I was in a little over a year ago. Those of you guys who don't know, I competed for Team USA in Olympic weightlifting for close to 4 to 5 years. And before that, fitness in general and sports was a huge part of my life. The first year to year and a half of my walk with the Lord, I was still competing in Olympic weightlifting. But in November of 2023, the Lord asked me to lay that down. And I've even had quite a few of you on this channel ask, well, why would the Lord tell you to lay down weightlifting? That doesn't seem right. And it's because I realized that my heart posture behind a lot of it was trying to pack on so much muscle so that I can seem intimidating, so that I wouldn't get hurt from people, because I was taken advantage of in many different ways in my past. And again, it was more of a defense mechanism. The time I was also spending in the gym was taking me away from possibly growing in the skills that I'm mentioning in this video, or even spending time with the Lord and putting into fulfilling the destiny that He has over my life. I just want to be honest with you guys and encourage you to really take a look within yourself and see if the fitness that you are trying to pursue, the fitness goals or weightlifting goals, is that something that we are doing selfishly, or is that something that we're trying to do to protect ourselves, to prove that we are worthy to be respected, or is it something that we are truly doing as worship unto the Lord? Now, I'm not saying that every girl who is in weightlifting or even competes in a sport at a high level has this quote unquote impure heart posture. However, with my personal experience, I realized that this was an idol in my life that I had to let go. And now my fitness primarily consists of just taking a couple walks every day. And I do little body weight workouts here and there. Laying weightlifting down has allowed me to pour so much more time into my relationship with God. And like I said, fulfilling the destiny and calling that He has over my life. For the girls who may have gotten triggered or upset or maybe even convicted from what I was just saying, I really want to encourage you with 1 Timothy 4:8, where it says, physical fitness is of little value, but godliness is of all the value. So this speaks to both groups of women. If you are somebody who is not taking any time to grow in your physical fitness is still of value. However, to the other groups of women where we may be idolizing that and putting way too much time into it, we have to understand that it is not nearly as much of value as godliness and preparing to be wives and mothers one day. Sixth step is to start putting effort in your physical appearance. Now, this was a step that I was nowhere near mastered, nor was even really paying attention to before I got married. So again, let this be encouragement to you guys that you are not going to be 100% in being prepared to be a wife when God sends you your future husband. In fact, I really do believe He will send your future husband when you least expect it and when you're not looking, because when you two come together, you guys are going to help each other grow to become better. So for myself, this step looked like laying down all of my tomboy clothes or streetwear clothes and putting in the effort to start dressing more feminine and more girly. Now, this is a process and our style will change over the years, but taking the initiative to start that not only is pleasing to the Lord, but I can attest that it really puts you more in this feminine, soft heart posture, and dressing more girly has honestly allowed me to have more of that meek, gentle, and quiet spirit that the Bible encourages and exhorts women to have. Another practical step that I took in this was starting to wear makeup. I never wore any more makeup other than concealer and mascara in the past. However, while I was courting the man of God that I am now married to, I took the initiative to then start wearing makeup. And I can confidently say now, I really, really enjoy it. After years growing up of thinking that I was too good for makeup and it was a waste of time, a waste of money, I find myself being very excited to wake up and take the time to be with the Lord while putting on my makeup. And that's what I want to encourage you young girls who may think that this step is not important because that's a position that I was in. Maybe I'm the only one, I don't know. But you have to understand that we are not adorning ourselves to attract a mate necessarily. I realized that I was royalty just as you are. We are daughters of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. The Bible says that we are co-heirs with Christ. When I think of royalty, when I think of kings and queens and princesses, I always see them very dressed up and they have put in so much effort into their physical appearance. And so I had to really take a look at myself and realize, why am I not treating myself as the royalty, as the princess that I am? I couldn't even say that I was a princess a few months ago, but I've really learned how to embrace that by God's grace. Other practical steps that we can take in this is just being consistent with the very little things, flossing your teeth every day, brushing your teeth at least twice a day, doing your hair, having it done so that you are presentable. And this is not vanity. This is representing our Father as He should be represented. And I can testify, the more effort that I put into myself, not in an idolatrous or vanity way, like I was saying, but the more effort I put into myself getting ready, I get dressed in cute clothes, and I put my makeup on, I feel so much more productive going into the day, which gives me the energy and the motivation to be able to fulfill God's destiny over my life. The last thing I will add to this section is speaking to the women who may already have this completely checked off. You put in the time and effort and money into your hair, into your makeup, into your physical appearance, into your clothes. But I want to remind you of 1 Peter 3 verses 3. It says, do not let your beauty be merely outward. I see this pattern within many girls in this younger generation and even Christian women to put in so much effort in their outward appearance that they are ignoring the contents of their heart. So I want to encourage you guys with those type of women. You have this one checked off. Now it's time to put in more effort and energy into the other steps, which is becoming a useful and skillful servant of Christ. Which leads me to my last and final step of preparing to be a godly wife, is to take the initiative to become a servant in any way you can. Now, this is where we're trying to figure out what our destiny or calling is over our life, or perhaps we already know it and we're trying to serve in those specific areas. Practically speaking, this can look like serving at your local church. For myself in the past, this looked like offering my videography and photography skills with helping individual online ministries, filming people's evangelism, which is actually how I met my husband. The best way to summarize this step is to learn how to make yourself useful. That's what my mom told me all the time growing up. Instead of just sitting back and waiting, oh, I'm in my season of singleness, God's just gonna bring the husband to me. No, if we're in our season of waiting, do what waiters do and serve. Jesus himself, the person that we are supposed to be reflecting and looking more and more like every single day, said that he didn't come to this world to be served, but to serve. So it is our reasonable service, whether as men or women, to learn how to be a servant unto man. This is going to open up evangelism opportunities. This is going to bring people closer to the Lord. This is worship unto the Lord. And my best advice to you, if you don't know where to start, is to just pay attention to what your gifts and your skills are and allow yourself to bless other people with your skill sets. Like I'd mentioned before, by me taking the initiative to do this allowed me to meet my future husband. And this is biblical. We read about the story of Rebecca and Isaac specifically in the book of Genesis. Rebecca was minding her own thing. She was working hard with her hands. Like Proverbs 31 says, a godly woman is one who works diligently with her hands. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the story, she basically was approached by Abraham's servant who was looking for Isaac's wife, and she didn't just pass on by him, or she wasn't just passively waiting at home. She was doing her work diligently unto the Lord. And as Abraham's servant came, she offered to not just give him a drink of water on his long journey, but to refresh all 10 of his camels. I'm pretty sure this meant she went up and down a well to bring up 300 to 500 gallons for these camels. She didn't have to do that, but she was making herself a servant to everybody that she was passing by. And because of her act, she was then taken to be Isaac's wife. The book of Proverbs says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. We want to be women that bring favor into our husband's life because of the skills that we provide, because we are an asset, because we have a soft, feminine heart that is wanting and willing to love. I really do believe if you are watching this video, especially if you've come to the end, it's because God is calling you higher as a woman of God. He is calling you to truly, truly put in that preparation to become that godly asset of a wife. And remember, you're going to hear me say this often on this channel. Everything God is calling you, convicting, and encouraging you to do, it's because he's giving you the grace to do it. So do not be overwhelmed. Just begin to take the step of faith to walk out these steps, and you will see God's grace meet you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want me, as always, to expand on any of the steps talked about here, be sure to comment down below. Be sure to give it a like, thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe to this channel. A lot of you guys watch these videos and you aren't subscribed. Just go ahead and subscribe, please. Help us sister out. I love you guys so much. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.